Hi, welcome to Java NetBeans tutorial of point of sales management system. Let me show you guys how this works. Supposing you want to go for fish, maybe 5 bags of fish, meat, 4 bags. Let's go for some drink, 4 of those, more drinks, 7 of those tomatoes, 4 grapes, orange, 7 celery, 2 onion, maybe 4 of those. All you then need to do is click on total right there. You can exit or you can reset. So what I'll do now is take you guys straight into Java NetBeans development environment, and I'll show you how to put one of these together, or how to put one of these together. So let's do that now. Hi and welcome to Java NetBeans. I'm going to start by clicking on File, New Project, and let's make sure Java is selected, Java Application. Let's click on Next, and this project is going to be known as Point of Sale. There, and I'm going to make sure this create main class is on check. Let me just copy that. Now click on finish. There. Alright, that's my project ready for me. So the next thing I'll do is right click on this project itself, and let's go to new, and I'm going to select JFrame right there. And with JFrame, let's give it a name. So it's going to be called Point of Sale System, and the package is going to be called Point of Sales Systems with an S. Click on finish. Now that the frame is ready, I will now define the interface for my project. So let's come to size. Okay, change that to approximately 1000 plus. Let's go for 1251. Okay, maybe 1350. Let's try that again. By, I think 730 should do. Right, that's my size there. Okay, so let's just extend this so that I can have enough room to carry out the whole project. About that. Okay, so let's get the palette now. Maybe move this about that much, and this a little bit down. Alright, the first thing I would like to do now is let's go to the palette right there and select panel right there. Come right here, paste the panel there, and drag this down. Now I have my very first panel in place. Let me come into the property and change the size or the appearance of this panel. So for the line border, I'm going to change that to, let's go for maybe 2 right there. Okay, maybe let's see if we can make a duplicate or copy. Alright, let's make a duplicate. Make a duplicate and just drag the duplicate across. Paste this one right there, that's good. Yeah, and let's drag this down much. Okay, I'm going to need another duplicate of this or maybe let's just copy it and paste it right in here. Yeah, that's fine, just paste it in here. Reduce the size to about that much. Yeah, I'm going to copy it again, copy, and paste the next one right here. Let's bring this down a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. And drag these along. Right. Okay. Let's bring this down. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is let's get some buttons in place. Come to the palette and let's select buttons. There we go. We have one button here. Let's define the size of this button first before we copy it across. Make that bold. Let's go for 18 here. And what else do we need? Yeah, I think 18 is fine. That's good enough for me. Now I'm gonna give that button a name. You can always right click on it and let's come in here and just call that JBTN. I'm gonna call it Apple. Yeah, that's my very first button. And right in there, let's change the text content to Apple. There. So I will now copy this very button across. Let's create and right click and create duplicate of that very button. One here. Yeah, that should do it. Select both and create duplicate of those as well. Impossible. Okay, duplicate individually. Okay, I'll speed that up and get back to you guys. Okay, the next thing is, let me get some, let's go for checkbox here, one here. Right, and we need to increase the size of that checkbox too, but before then maybe we should get a text field right there, one text field there, and select both and let's increase the font size to about 18 as well, right there. Make that bold. Okay, so I'm just going to now copy this across. Yeah, let's copy both. Copy, paste, and right here now select it all as well. Let's copy again and let's populate it. Repeat the same thing here, and we just speed that up as well. Okay guys, so far this is how the interface is looking. I'm going to just run it so that you have a good look at it. That is how it all looks right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to change the names here. So let's come back in here and just select this. So that will become mate. So let's come in here, edit, and we change that to mate. Then we'll repeat the same thing to this. That will be orange, and that will be bacon. So let's speed that up as well so that that doesn't take much of our time. Okay, I've completed the naming of each of those buttons. So maybe if we run it, you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right there. Suppose you can see what I'm talking about. So let's start with the design of this interface here. So let's take care of that now. So we come in here. Okay, let's get some data in there. We need labels. Maybe let's copy this very one and paste it in here. And another one in there too. Maybe one more. 3. Okay, now we need text box. Copy this. No, let's make it 3. Copy those 3 text box and just paste them right in here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. I think I'm gonna need one more text box for the design of the interface. Let's just copy this one and paste that there. Bring it down. That would be for my receipt. Take it right down up to there. Move this up a little bit. Maybe we'll move all of this up because we still need a button. We need about 3 buttons in place. Yeah. Okay, let's move this up a little bit more. And let's add 3 buttons. Let me copy one of these, copy and paste it underneath here. Have it somewhere there. No. And do that and get that very button. Move it down. Yeah. One more. And there we go. We have our 3 buttons there. So let's change the names of those buttons. Just right click and edit. So that is exit. And the variable name, that will be jbtn exit. And this will be reset. And the variable name will be jbtn reset. Right, and followed by total. That'll be jbtn total. There. Okay, let's come up here and rename all of these ones. That is going to be called tax, and this one will be called subtotal, and we have total for the last one here. And just paste that in there, right? And in here we need to change the names of this one. That will be jTXT tax. Right, this one is jTXT subtotal, and the other one will be jTXT total. There. Okay, that's fine. So let's run it and see what we have done so far. Compile and run. Okay guys, so far that's how the interface looks right now. I'm going to start with this very exit button. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and the first thing I'll do is to add the following lines of code. You need to import Javax, swing, JFrame, and you also need to import this J option panel. Okay, we're going to be using that for the message. So let's come in here inside the exit button, double click on that, or you can just right click and select events, action, perform, and we enter the following lines of codes in there. Okay, and up here I have actually declared a method there, okay, that you actually use to create an object in here. Okay, so if you click on the exit button, this message pops up, and this is displayed on the message box, and here that is the Java message options for you. and if the option selected is yes, the system exits. So let's try that out and you see what I'm talking about. So run that, and if I click on exit, there, if you click on no, you stay within the system. If you click on yes, the system exits. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's have a go at this reset button. So I'm going to start with jTextBox apple dot, let's go for set text, and that will be no. Then we're going to repeat the same thing for jCheckBox apple dot, and there. So that will reset these two components there, 1 and 2. So if I run it, let's compile and run. Check that and add some content in here. There. Okay, so I will repeat the same thing for all of these components here. I may have to speed it up to save time. Okay, I've actually speed up the codes, and here they are. Alright, let me just show it to you guys. That's the reset button. Take it from up here and bring it down. Alright, that's that set. So let's give it a shot and see how it works. Let's try that out. Let's select any of these components and enter some values in there, and we can just reset. Okay, let's click on reset. There, guys. So that is taken care of. Okay, the next thing I like to do is to prevent all of these text box from the user entering character. Okay, so what I'll do is come in here, let's end the whole process, and right here you right click on one of those text box and go for key events, key time, and in there right here we enter the following lines of codes. So take a good look at those lines of codes. I've declared an object here which will prevent the end user from entering just ordinary character. Okay, if we compile and run and give that a try, you see what I'm talking about. Take a good look at those lines of code because I intend to speed it up. Right, if I come in here, enter numbers in there, that's fine, and let me demonstrate it with this keyboard. Right in there, try to enter characters. See, nothing is happening, but if I decide to press to enter number keys, you see that, guys. Okay, so we see how that works now, which is brilliant. So reset. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for all of these components here. So let's do that now. Okay, the next thing I would like to do is to disable all of these text box once the system starts. So I think the best thing is to right click on the form itself. Let's come to Windows and let's go for Window Activate. Let's try that for the form. I'm going to start with jTextBox apple dot enable. the set enable equals 4. So let me try this very single line of code out. Compile, let's run it and see what will happen to the Apple component. Alright, as you can see, is disabled. Okay, so we'll repeat the same thing. Let's repeat the same thing for orange. So that's, or maybe the meat, yeah, the meat. I'll come in here and just enter meat in right in there. Okay, and try that out as well. Compile, and we'll run it as well. Yeah, the meat is disabled as well, so I will just speed this up now. Okay guys, those are the lines of codes. So what will happen is when you run the program, the text box, they will all be disabled. Look at that. Okay, I think maybe we should disable this one as well. Does that have a name? Let's see, there's no name for this, so let's right click, come right in here and just call it jTXT. Oh, that's an area. TXT receipt. Okay, area. So I know that is area. Okay, so let's see if we can disable that as well. Come right in here and get it disabled too. Let's copy this. There. So we'll run that and see how it looks like. Okay, is all disabled now. Now, the next thing I would like to do is to be able to enable it with this checkbox. So to do that, I think it's not going to be wise. I think what I should do is disable all of this as well and enable those with the button. So let's go back to the, yeah, there we go, from window activate, and let's say CHK Apple dot set enable. Let's make that false as well there, and let's make the rest false. I think there's that of meat as well, and there's orange, so let's say meat, there's orange. Okay, let's try those three out first and see how it looks like. Okay, you can see 1, 2, and 3, they are all disabled. The only thing that can enable it will be this. So if I come in here, let's try and enable one force and see. So action perform. So let's ask it to enable this Apple. Yeah. Right. So just that single line of code should enable that. So right now they are all disabled. That enables it, and this will enable this, and you can enter your data in there. So that's easy. So let's complete this one first, then we'll deal with the others. But I can just speed that up because you guys now get the whole idea. Okay, now the codes to disable this checkbox, they are all ready. So let's run it and see that as well, how it works. Okay, you see they are all disabled now. So the only bit that is enabled is just the buttons. Okay, only this button can enable this very one. So let's repeat the same thing for the rest. So we come in here first. We've done this, so Now let's take care of this other one, action perform. So is that right? What's the name of this button? That has no name. We need to give it a name. Now let's come in here, the variable name, that will be btn mid. Okay, so repeat that for btn mid. Yeah, and right in here, jCheckBox mid dot set enable. Okay, I can just copy it right there. Copy that there. So those two are completed. I'm just gonna speed it all up and get back to you guys. This is completed. I enabled that and this enable it. So let me speed it up. Okay, now if you click on this very button, you notice I've completed all of this. So these are the buttons that will enable the checkbox. Okay, and I've completed it for all of the buttons. So if I run it, you can have a good look at those lines of code. If I run it, let's compile and run. So I can enable all of those checkbox using my buttons here, and I can also use this checkbox. So the whole idea is to be able to use this checkbox to enable this text box here. So, and the other thing I'm going to have to do is when I click on reset, I'll like all of these components, I like them disabled as well. So to do that, let me go straight into the form itself. Now just copy the lines of code I have on the form. Okay, this is supposed to be the lines of codes right there. So copy all of those. I will paste those ones inside. Reset action perform right in there. Come right down. Okay, and disable it as well. There we go. So if I run it now, let's see. Now enable, and I can also disable it with this. Yeah, that's fine. I want to be able to select the button and enable my checkbox. Why I click on this checkbox, I would like the checkbox to enable the text box. To do that, we have to write 1 or 2 lines of codes on the checkbox. So select the checkbox here, right click and select action perform. So there we are. Right in here, let's enter as follows using an if statement. If jCheckBox apple dot is selected. There we go. Alright, now what we want it to do is just enter curly braces there. We would like it to enable jTextBox apple dot enable enabled equals true. There. Okay, else I think that's supposed to be uppercase. And that should be set enabled. Yeah. Okay, else I would like it to be false. So let's copy that and come in here, enter else statement in there and there. So make that false right there. I'm going to copy that so that I can use it for the rest. But before then, let's run it and see. Compile and then let's run it. Okay, so those are the lines of codes. Now we'll run it and see what's going to happen. Alright, if I click on Apple, that enables that, and that enables that, which means I'm allowed to enter some values in there. Okay, let's exit and continue with the others. Okay, the other thing is, I think maybe we should modify this before continuing. Let's come in here and enter jTextBox Apple dot request focus. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so which means the focus will be inside the or on the text box itself. Now let's see if that's going to work. It should work anyway. Now let's run it. Apple take, and you see that. Okay, you can't see it properly. Let's exit. Okay, for you guys to be able to see the focus properly, let's come into the align here and just get it centered. Okay, let's try that again. Maybe we should even enter some default value in there. Let's make that 0 right there. I will have to repeat the same thing for all of the other components. Maybe I should just do that now. Select it all and just enter a value in it. Okay, let's change it to center, and the text content in it will be 0. Okay, if that's 0 as well, we're going to have to change something in here. But let's finish up the first line of code first. Come back in here, right click and select event, action perform. Try that again. Action perform right in there, and we need to just set that to clear the box actually. So let's enter that here, right there in the center here. So enable and then clear the content in there. So the content to be cleared will be set text right there. So if you look at it, enable, clear, and set focus, else disable, set the focus back to 0. Okay, I think logically that is correct. So let's compile and run. Once we get that right, then we just speed it up for the others. Okay, enable that text box, and we can now enter value. As you are aware, we cannot enter characters. You can disable there. Okay, that will be repeated for the rest of this text box. If I copy that now, come to the next checkbox, event, action perform, and right in there, action perform. Yeah, right there. Paste and change the content there. Let's change, undo that. Let's see what happens. Okay. Paste again. No. Let's copy that. And then change that to orange. and we will repeat the same thing for the others. And this. Okay, that is set for orange as well. Compile and run it. So enable here, enable here. That is fine. Okay, so reset. When we reset, as you can see, all the values 0 is all gone, and this should be disabled. Okay, because we can still enter something in there, so which means we need to work on the reset. So let's come into the reset itself. So we'll take care of that and speed up the whole process there. Okay, right in here, all of this will become 0 instead of none. And enable, and we actually disable it as well, so this becomes 0. And let's speed that up. Okay, we've speed that up. So the next one is, let's set the enable. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it right there for the apple. So that will become jTXT. Okay, I think there's orange as well. Let's grab that of orange and we'll play around with just those two first. That's jTXT. Good. Now let's compile and run again. Alright, enable, enter data, enable, enter data as well. Reset. There, everything is back to how it was. Okay, I think I've entered 0 in here. Well, maybe I should leave it at 0s anyway. Alright, so let's come there and just do that for those ones as well. Enter value in there, individual, and align them center as well. Right. What is left is to just speed it up. Let me speed up the enable code. Okay, all that is left for us to do now is to take care of this total. That's all of this now. Do what we want. Okay, so let's take care of the total, and we can call it the end of this program. Scroll right there. First thing first, let's declare some variables right underneath here. Okay, let's assign some global variable double. Let's say I tax, I sub subtotal, and I total. Okay, now I will then declare an array. Okay, right here inside total, let's use the array item cost. That'll be 0, and let's assign a value to it. That'll be double, or we can go for double dot pause double, and that would be for jTXT apple dot, and that'll be get item, get text here, there, and let's multiply that by, let's say that is the cost of an apple, a bag of apple. So I'm going to now just copy that and repeat the same thing for the rest. let's change it to round. Okay, and I'll speed that up. Alright, this is how the codes look now. So let's use the array as well to add up, to sum up all of these values in here. So we say, let me copy item cost 22 equals item cost 1 plus item cost 2 plus item cost 3. Let's copy all of these. There. So this is 4. No, that should be 0. 0. Right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe one more. Okay, let's enter one more. Maybe that's 6. There. So that's 6. Item cost 6. So let's speed that up. So what has happened here is all of this value from 0 to 6, those 7 items are added together. Okay, let's speed that up now. And right there, that's how it looks like. Now the whole value is then stored inside item cost 25. Okay, the next thing is, let's convert iTotal right here. iTotal, iTags. Let's convert them all to string. Okay, there. Come right down here. So let's go for iTags equals that. That's the value for tags. Then I subtotal equals this. There. And now I think this is uppercase. Yeah. This has got to be dot format. Let's copy this. Alright. And paste that in there. Undo that. Copy. Paste. And get rid of this. As for the subtotal. Now for the total, paste that in there. This becomes iTotal, and this becomes 25 plus whatever we have in here. Yeah, I might as well just copy all of that. Copy all of that and just end it. Paste it in a bracket. Yeah, that is for the total. Now we assign all of these into, let's come in here and get total. The total is called jTextBox. That's for tags. Dot set that is for tags, so that is iTags. Now subtotal, jTextBox subtotal dot set. What we're setting is subtotal. Paste there, and that of total Alright, so all we need to do now is let's try it out and make sure it works as we want. Let's take a look at the codes. Right, so let's run it and see. Okay, select any item you want, how many you like. Let's go for fish as well, 5 of those, maybe carrot, 6 of those. Okay, let's get drunk, whiskey, maybe 7 of those. How about rum? Let's get pissed. Right, let's go for onions. So all you need to do now is click on the total right there, guys. That's fine. So all that is left for us to do is just to take care of the receipts as well. Resets, that's fine. Yeah, have a good look at the lines of code again. So we just add the receipt right underneath here. And right here are the lines of code for the receipt. It starts from here up to here. Okay, I have a reference number, then I have date and time as well. That's for the date and time. As for the date and time, you will have to import as follows. You will have to import that and that. Simple data format and the calendar. If you like, you can use the Georgian calendar. Now back to the code right underneath here. That's the total. Have a good look at it again. Okay, we have the reference here. Okay, and we also have the dates, the time, and the calendar there. And here, these are just the simple lines of code for the receipt itself. And right here, that's where I embedded the date and time and receipt embedded here. So inside the receipt you have tax, subtotal, and total there. So that's all about this program. Now let me just take it up so that you guys see all of the codes one more time. That's the total for the total. Okay, so let's run this program now and you see what it's all about. Okay, compile and run. Yeah, there we go. Now let's go for some drinks. Vodka, let's go for about 4 of those. Wine, maybe 5 alcoholic. Whiskey, 8, well, we're having a party, why not? 9 of those, and gin, maybe 3 of those. Okay, do we need something to chew? What about fish? 7 of those. Let's go for apples, 4 oranges, cucumber, bean sprouts. Yeah, so all I need to do now is just click on the total right there. See that, guys? So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you all enjoyed the point of sale system. Thanks for watching and bye for now.